Okay, I'm actually gonna help you learn how to scream, unlike everybody else who just sits there and tries to show you and they don't give you the right tips. And you ask a question and they don't know how to answer it, and whatever happens that may happen to you. Like, I hate that. And people who just sit there and talk for like 2 hours about nothing and you don't care about. You want to learn how to scream, so I'm gonna teach you how to scream. I'm gonna give you tips on what to do before you scream and after you scream that'll keep you from hurting your voice. Example, tip number one, don't inhale scream, because inhale screaming can mess up your vocal cords. And although it's easier to learn and do, you'll eventually hurt yourself and you won't be able to scream anymore. And if you don't believe me, I have friends who will vouch for me, so take my word for it. You should also drink water before and after and during and everything in between. Be like fucking Austin Powers and drink and piss at the same time. I don't care. But because water will keep you from getting hurt. And if you are practicing screaming and you feel it hurting, then you should stop right then and don't keep going. And don't think you can keep going, because if your voice hurts, then you keep going, you're gonna hurt yourself, and that would be really bad. So, for the actual technique of screaming, what you are going to do to start off, there are a few ways to do it. The way I actually learned, and it may not be your way, I'll show you more, but the way I actually learned was whispering and then forcing a talk out of your whisper at the same time. That may sound confusing, so I'm going to clear it up for you. Alright, so you whisper like this, and you're whispering, and you're saying whatever the fuck you want to say, and maybe singing along to your favorite song while whispering at the same time. And you force a talk out like this, and then you keep pushing, and you keep going. And you start out with that, and the more you push, the better your scream gets. And the louder it'll get, and then you're gonna have to practice a few times, strengthen it up a little bit. It might even take you a month, because it took me like a month and a half to get it strong enough to sing through maybe like a full song or two. And then so yeah, that's the first way. The second way is whispering. They both have to do with whispering. So you whisper again, but instead of talking, you just push harder. So you whisper again. You push. So you whisper, 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 and then yeah. So you keep moving up, and that could also help you. I don't know which way will help, but you can try both, and depending on what you get better results from, obviously it's not going to sound like a scream right away, because you can't just pick it up in 5 seconds. It does take practice. It's not something that you're just going to get the technique off of and then do in the 5 seconds. So if you start out like you can't push hard enough to get that noise out when you're whispering, that's okay. That's just that your voice isn't strong enough. So keep pushing, and um keep pushing until you get the sound out, or until keep training your voice through the pushing to make it strong enough so you can get the sound out. And all this diaphragm bullshit. Okay, all right. I know your diaphragm's like somewhere in the stomach region, and honestly, I don't give a fuck where my diaphragm is, because I learned how to scream without knowing where my diaphragm is. You're pushing with your abs, like you're tensing up your abs to push out air. That's all you're doing. Diaphragm is like, it has to do with it, I'm sure. I don't know my parts of the body, because I'm not gonna major in anatomy, but you don't really have to know where your diaphragm is to start screaming. You just have to tense up your abs and your chest region and push out and push the whisper through and get that noise out. And then you'll learn how to do it. That's all you really need to know how to do. And if it hurts at first, then obviously drink some water, give it like 30 minutes, let your voice chill out, and when it feels better, you can keep trying again. And maybe if it hurts really bad, then just stop for the rest of the day, go back to it the next day, take another go, and you'll eventually you'll get it so that your voice is strong enough so that you don't even have to stop, and you can just keep going. You can make and like scream everywhere, and you can scare old ladies at the bus stop, and whatever you want to do. As for different types of screams, that you will have to go to another video for, because I'm not gonna like sit here and try to teach you a high and a low. It's really easy, honestly. I picked it up on myself, just after getting the bass scream down, like the intermediate scream, which is probably, well, my intermediate scream is probably more of a high for you, but you know, like I learned how to do highs first, which is I guess awkward because most people learn how to do lows first. Um, but just get that down and then go to the different levels. Changing from high to low is just as easy as changing from high to low with your voice. That's talking like this and talking like this. You know, it's like the same thing. It's the same concept. And when you're screaming though, to form words, you're gonna want to move your mouth a lot, which you've probably gotten from another video if you keep watching, because you're gonna scroll through videos like 20 minutes. So yeah, just good luck, and I hope I helped better than everybody else did.